What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Into the Bengal-Verse with yours truly, Mario Malave, giving you an in-depth look of your Cincinnati Bengals. So, we just had the bye week. I'm recording this on Sunday as the Bengals did not play today, and I never necessarily gave my thoughts on the Jets and Browns game on camera. I've been busy in terms of moving stuff around my room and just busy in general, but regardless, I thought it'd be a good time to just sit down, talk about my thoughts in terms of the bye week, and just give my breakdown in terms of where the team stands going into this upcoming Sunday against the Las Vegas Raiders. So, Bengals go to New York. This was 2 weeks ago. Bengals go to New York, riding high after a Baltimore win. A big-time statement, Baltimore win. And everybody, including myself, is riding high on the team, looking at the schedule, thinking to ourselves, all these games are pretty much going to be wins. This is a win. Might be a loss, and we were just super confident. And this has just been a really, really weird NFL season, man, because there's been so many upsets. Every week it seems like the team that's supposed to win doesn't show up, and the team that's not supposed to win just tears up the team that was supposed to win in the first place. And it's just been really weird. There's been lots of crazy storylines going on. Odell Beckham is no longer on the Browns. He's now with the Rams. Upset after upset, whatever the case may be. Von Miller's now on the Rams. So many things you didn't think would happen are happening, and it's just like, what the heck is going on? The Titans are now, I believe, 8-2 without, and they've gone on to go 8-2 without Derrick Henry. It's just crazy to see what's going on in the league, and pretty much, the Bengals, they go into this game, no Zach Wilson. And this is coming off of, I believe, after the Patriots smoked them by 20 plus, I think. And, we're super confident going into this week. And then once we play it, this is a team where, it had trap game written all over it. You're going against a quarterback that you don't know much about. Obviously, it's Mike White, and the Mike White train looks like it stopped, a few weeks after we've played him. But, you're going against this quarterback, Mike White, and the Bengals are notorious for struggling against backup quarterbacks and rookie quarterbacks. And it's just very unfortunate because this is a game where if you take advantage of it, after this Baltimore game, you could still be first in the AFC North, and you could still be clear-cut, a clear-cut seed in terms of, being in the playoffs. Right now, as it stands, the Bengals are now the third seed in the AFC North. Still behind the Steelers. They tied to the Lions. It would have been huge if that kicker could have made it for the Lions. Lions and the Steelers both looked really bad that game. And the Steelers didn't have Ben, but regardless, they're tied. So Ravens still, and they lost. They still sit atop one game. Steelers sit at 5-4-1. We sit at 5-4. And then the Browns, I believe, sit at 5-5. So here's the deal. We're the third seed in the AFC North. And as of right now, I don't think we're in the playoffs. But, actually, we still might be. I'd have to check on that. But regardless, we all know it's going to be a very tight race. The AFC is very, tight-knit. You look at the NFC. The NFC has their top dogs. Definitely their elite teams are better than the AFC's as of right now. But I think the AFC, in terms of how close it can be, anyone's race, and how it's wide open, I think that is going to be something that we figure out towards the end of the year. We still don't know who the best team in the AFC is. I think everyone just says the Bills because they were the favorite beforehand. And you have to say the Bills now because the Chiefs have been struggling really bad and nobody knows what's going to happen each week. Mahomes isn't playing like the best quarterback in the league right now. Somehow it's this 45-year-old man who's looking to win the MVP. But regardless, there's just so many crazy storylines, so many weird situations going on. And, one of the storylines going in to when we were playing New York was, we're going against this guy named Mike White. And little do we know, little do they know, we struggled to get pressure. Our defense played really bad. The tackling was really bad. Joe Burrow played decent. I mean, when we have a team that's winning again, as Bengals fans, we feel, I'd say a majority of the fans start to get the sense like it's not good enough because we're back in that belief and back into that mode where we're like, okay, we should be winning these games. It's unacceptable to lose these games. The Bears loss obviously still stings, but that was Burrow's second game coming off of, the ACL, and it just, I can accept that was a loss. The Jets one was unacceptable. It really was. And there's a trend with this team where every time they lose, the tackling's been horrendous. Like leading, bottom of the league, leading in the missed tackles percentage for pretty much all of our losses. And there's nothing more to say than got to have better discipline. We got to get after the quarterback. We've still been decent at stopping the run, but man, Michael Carter and those checkdowns that Mike White was giving us were really giving our team fits. Really concerning. Really concerning. Especially once we play the Browns. And I'll get into what happened with the Browns. But regardless, we struggled tackling against this team. There was obviously that really bad Mike Hilton unnecessary roughness call, the helmet-to-helmet hit. When he went low for the tackle, the other player lowered his helmet, and they called Mike Hilton for the penalty. You know what? Everyone has said this. I'm still going to stand. I'm going to say it too. Yes, it would have been nice to see us get the ball back, and we could have went on to, potentially win the game, just like in Green Bay, just like in Chicago. But you know what? We shouldn't have been in that situation in the first place. We shot ourselves in the own foot plenty of times, and what more can you do? T. Higgins had a big game. We couldn't really run the ball. The Jets D-line was really giving our offensive line problems, which the offensive line is starting to look more and more concerning. The tackles look fine. Quentin Spain has been, obviously, I think, we could extend him. Trey Hopkins is just not cutting it. He's had his moments, but for the most part, he's just not cutting it. And then Jackson Carman has been replaced by Hakeem Adeniji. I'm pretty sure Adeniji is going to start against the Raiders, and that's not them necessarily writing out Carman, but they just want to see what's the best option on the line as of right now. That doesn't mean Carman can't turn into a really good player next year or a few weeks down the road. But as of right now, Hakeem Adeniji is back from injury, and he's going to be playing against the Raiders. That's how it seems right now, and I don't know, guys. I just don't know. Trey Waynes, I'm never going to get... Every time I say that name, I just get depressed because we're paying that guy so much money when we could have allocated that money to upgrade a better position or a position that was in more of need, or maybe we just spent on the wrong guy. Right call to get a corner, just wrong player, I don't know. But regardless, we're paying him so much money. He's only played, I believe, 2 games since his entire tenure with the Bengals, and he's not coming back anytime soon. We just had the bye week. He just missed these past few weeks, and he's still not going to be ready for the Raiders game. It's crazy to think about. And Eli Apple, he had a decent past few weeks, and then all of a sudden we play the Browns, and then he gives up that deep touchdown. But we're going to get to that. That wasn't necessarily all his fault. So back to the Jets game. We play the Jets, and then all of these problems we just notice. We think that the defense is top 5. We think that the offense is going to absolutely punish this team, and then that was a game of learning all the flaws the team has and how it's a young team still learning to win, and how the NFL is filled with grown, talented men, talented professional athletes. And that's pretty much how life is in the NFL. There's no sympathy. You got to roll with the punches, especially when you try and talk smack to your friend group or whoever, and you end up coming out flat and just losing to a team like the Jets. I said we were going to kill them, and they ended up beating us. And they did everything right. Mike White found all the checkdowns. He made our linebackers work. Our defense just couldn't get pressure. It was just... That's a game where if we don't make the playoffs because of one game, or a couple games, it's like, what are we doing? And it's unfortunate because, like, we have these expectations of this could be the year where we win a playoff game, and we're still a young team learning how to win. I've accepted that. So I said if the team could play how I think they could play, this is a 10-plus win team. Now I'm more at like 9, like a confident 8 or 9 win season. But that's only because it's a young team learning how to win, which is growing pains. That's just what happens in the league. It's not like our team is peppered with really old, savvy veterans that know how to win and are ready to win now. So we deal with this Jets loss. The team puts it behind them. Seems like they have a great week of practice. Great week. Seem like they're going to answer the bell. And all of a sudden, we get the Browns coming to town. And the thing is, I still think there's a really good case and legitimate case as to why we can split with this team, as bad as the loss was to the Browns. The reason being is because we were moving the ball super efficiently that first drive when we got the ball, when they deferred the kickoff to us, and we drove all the way down, and it just sadly ended with a Joe Burrow pick 6 to Denzel Ward. We were on like the 5-yard line. Burrow stares down his target, being Jamar Chase. Denzel Ward just reads it, sees it, and brings it all the way to the house. And that's where it becomes a problem. Because your offense exerts all that energy, all that time and effort to go down and score. Meanwhile, the Browns defer the kickoff to you, so they get it at the half, and they scored without even putting their offense on the field. So you're already at a disadvantage there. And clearly, as me saying they got a pick 6, that was just the beginning of the trend that was this game. Too many big plays. Too many blown opportunities. And too many big plays. That's the key to winning in the NFL. Got to win the turnover battle. Got to win you got to have the more explosive plays. You got to be more efficient. And that's just the bottom line. And the Bengals lost in pretty much all of those aspects in this game, especially in the trenches. The game is won and lost in the battle of the trenches, and not only did we not keep up with them in terms of scoring, but their trenches, man, they blasted us. And the Browns, they lost today to the Patriots. I'm recording this on Sunday. I think I might be releasing this on tomorrow. But regardless, our D-line, I think, is very talented. But somehow, the Patriots found a way, and they always do this with every team. They try and find the weakness. They found a way to get the lead on the Browns to where once you play this Browns team and you have the lead, they are a different team. And I believe that. I think they are better off without Odell, without that drama. I think Donovan Peoples-Jones just fits Baker's just that offense and what they want to do perfectly. And clearly he's one of Baker's favorite guys, especially when he plays against us. But at the end of the day, the Patriots found a way to contain them. Dolphins kind of copied us in terms of how to stop Lamar. I don't think we did it this year, but we definitely did it last year where we blitzed Darius Phillips and pretty much showed if you can have a corner on Lamar and you can contain that O-line and stay disciplined, like you can beat them. The Steelers did it too. They used Mike Hilton on Lamar. But regardless, it's just unfortunate how you look at how those teams played this week, and we could have capitalized these past few weeks. So back to the game when we played them. So we're playing the Browns, to get that pick 6, and we go down and score, which is great and all. But, you waste all that time off the clock, and now it's tie game, and now their offense is going up the field, and your offense is tired, and they go down and score like it was nothing. Like it was nothing. And one thing leads to another. One punt leads to another. They score after another, and before you know it, it's becoming a blowout. When you go for it on 4th down, when you have crucial drops on 3rd down, and you don't convert, and you kind of give up that territory that you need on the field, it's just unfortunate, man. It's just unfortunate, but there's still plenty to look forward to with this team. The team still has the upside. It just all depends how they come out this bye. I think the right players and leaders are in this locker room to where they can get back on track to winning. But it is a young team. They are still learning. And you just got to live and breathe and just kind of figure out what you're going to do with yourself when a team like this is going to kick themselves in the foot at times. Because it's been 30 years since we've had a playoff win, and we want this to be the year where it snaps. We want every year to be the year where we break the streak and win the Super Bowl. If it were up to me, we would win the Super Bowl every year. I wouldn't care about picks. I wouldn't care about the draft. I wouldn't care about, power rankings or, draft odds. I'd be worrying about the ring every year. That's all I'd want. But sadly, it's the NFL, and, it's super hard to win in this league, and you can't take any week for granted. You can't take any team for granted. Anything can happen on any given Sunday. And you saw that today. Lions tied with the Steelers. Browns, who destroyed us, got pummeled by the Patriots. And the Ravens got pummeled by Miami. So here we are now. How is this team going to bounce back? How is this team going to bounce back after dealing with 2 games in a row now where there's been storylines? Jets have to deal with the storyline of Mike White. Zach Wilson's not playing, therefore Mike White's, playing. So we always struggle against backup QBs, so we're in a dogfight there. Browns are holding out Odell when we play the Browns. They're dealing with their storyline. Baker has to play a game where he has something to prove, and he pretty much owns the Bengals as of right now. He's like 6-1 against us. It's a sickening stat. Plays very excellent against us. Only a few picks. Crazy amount of touchdowns. It annoys the crap out of me that I even have to say this. Because if you ask me, I've had my fun pummeling Ben. I want to see this team pummel Baker. I really want to see this team just give it to him. And I thought this was going to be the game where Joe Burrow finally gets over the hump of beating Cleveland, because the Ravens were hard for him, beat them well. Steelers were hard for him at first, handled them this year. And the Browns were the team where he was always having fun, scoring a ton of points against them last year. And this is a chance to prove that he can. And then that one pick six just screwed over the game. Quarterbacks don't throw pick sixes often, whether they're a first overall pick or a backup. So you can't expect that every time we play them there's going to be a pick six or a play like that. So we'll see what happens next time we play them around. We got our asses kicked. You got to live with it and move on. Simple as that. Yeah, you live and you learn. And it's just weird because now we're playing a Raiders team that just lost this past week to the Giants. The week before, though, they bounced back and they won a game, given the Gruden thing. The whole Ruggs situation just happened and they lost. So the question is, the Bengals coming off a bye week. And I believe the Raiders have a short week, or they're either playing tonight. Like I said, I'm recording this on a Sunday. They either play tonight or Monday night against the Chiefs. So regardless, we get a head start watching them and their personnel. But they're playing without Ruggs. There's a storyline. There's a whole, the microscope is on that team right now. And you can't play around with a wild dog. You just don't know what you're going to get. You don't know what you're going to get with a team like that. And, we got to have our players locked in this week. Because let's say the Chiefs somehow blow them out, which I don't see happening. We still got to be ready and treat this game like it's a playoff game. Every week's got to be seen as it's either do or die. Got to go 1-0. That's the goal. You control what you can control, and you control by beating the team that you can that week. And it's just weird because now we have to play them. We still have to play the Chargers. We play the Steelers and Ravens again. We still got to play the Chiefs and the Browns for the remainder schedule. We still got to play the 49ers. So there's still plenty of competitive games left. So we'll see what happens there. But I don't know, guys. We'll see how this team bounces back. Because as of right now, I'm a little worried. Young team learning how to win. We'll see how they bounce back. Offense is still starting off slow at times. Defense hasn't been getting pressure lately. This team, I'm going to say this now. Going into next year, offensive line, cornerback, edge and D-line. Those are my 4 needs for the team. They need a guy, and as much as I love Bates, safeties can be schemed around. This team doesn't have a guy as of right now. That doesn't mean any player on the team can't develop on defense into that guy. But this team as of right now, it appears doesn't have a guy where when you're watching film, the team circles him and says, we have to avoid him from wrecking this game at all costs. Trey Hendrickson, really good pass rusher, really solid player. He can be schemed around. He's not Aaron Donald. He's not a world beater. He's not a prime Von Miller or Khalil Mack. He's really good, though, and he's playing up to that contract. But this team doesn't have a player where it's we have to avoid that man at all costs or he's going to give us problems all day. We need to either trade for, sign, or draft that kind of guy. We have to figure it out. I don't know who, how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, but it needs to happen. We need that kind of guy on defense. You know, in previous years we had Geno Atkins. You know, that's a Hall of Famer right there. Do we have any Hall of Famers on defense right now? I don't know. Like, seriously, think about it to yourself. You see what I mean? So, we're going to see how this defense bounces back the rest of the year. They've now given up over 30 points in back-to-back weeks when they were the one team in the NFL to hold teams to less than 27 points per game, I believe it was. So we'll see how the team bounces back. I think they can. They got to show me something, though, by beating the Raiders. And we're going to preview this Raiders game later this week. But, like I said, it's life in the NFL. It's always going to be tough. It's always got to be 1 week at a time. It drives you crazy. You love it. You hate it at times. But you know what? That's the NFL for you. And I'm glad I'm a fan of this team. I love this team. And, yeah, but real quick, Joe Burrow in these picks, I think it still can be cleaned up. I don't think this will be a trend for the rest of his career. I think this is just one of those years where he's just still trying to figure out what he can and can't get away with in this league. At times, sometimes he's made rookie throws, and only a few have been out of his control. Regardless, I think it'll get cleaned up. But anyways, I'm going to be back later this week to give my thoughts on this Raiders game. So, without further ado, I will leave you with have a great day, and a blessed day, and a who day. I'll see you later, folks.